All right. Hello, everyone. I know that people are coming in and out, so I will quickly reintroduce myself. Today, I'm here to talk about influencer marketing metrics and a variety of different metrics you should be looking at when proving the ROI of your influencer marketing campaigns. Let's see. All right, before I get into it, I just want to quickly introduce myself again if you're new to the room. My name is Courtney Spritzer. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Socialfly. Socialfly is a social-first digital agency that I started 12 years ago with my business partner. And we have evolved as digital and social has evolved over the past 12 years. And for anyone else in this room who has been in this space for the past 12 years or more, you know that it's constantly changing. So we have learned to be really fast at evolving with the digital marketing space. Our core services are influencer marketing, paid social, paid digital, full digital media buying, creative services, and social media management. And we have worked with a wide variety of clients. We don't just specialize in one specific industry. I'm fortunate enough to have some amazing clients in the room. Quick shout out to Summit One Vanderbilt. For anyone who has traveled to New York for this conference, highly recommend checking out Summit One Vanderbilt. They're right near Grand Central. All right, now I will just get right to it and discuss why we're all here. So influencer marketing is constantly evolving, and we see so many shifts and so many trends come and go over the years. It's really important that as you are investing in your influencer marketing campaigns, you are evolving and keeping up with how to report on the ROI. So by a show of hands, how many people here have executed or invested in influencer marketing for your brands or for your clients? Okay, great. Does anyone have any ongoing campaigns happening right now? Okay, a few of you. And then is anyone having a hard time proving the ROI to any key stakeholders within your company? Okay, great. So I will be answering questions at the end, and if you don't want to ask questions in front of the group, feel free to come to our booth where we're right over there. All right, so as we shift our mindset from the old ways of looking at influencer marketing, it's going to be really important that we focus on setting KPIs based on your program goals and not historical benchmarks like engagement rate. You should still be thinking about engagement rate. We use engagement rates to pick which influencers we want to work with. But when you're reporting on the success of your campaigns, you want to look beyond the engagement rate and think bigger and look more holistically at some other key metrics. You want to look at multiple data points from a variety of sources versus single numbers that don't really tell the whole story. And I'll talk about some additional metrics you'll want to report on later in this presentation. So we've all seen the traditional marketing funnel. I have attended a few sessions yesterday, and we talked about this a lot through the variety of sessions that I attended. And one of the things that's really important when you are working on an influencer campaign or working with an agency on an influencer campaign is that you are very clear and aligned on what your objectives are. There have been a lot of times where we work on a campaign and our client comes to us and says they really want to just focus on brand awareness, and then the campaign ends and they ask how much sales that it drove. And you really need to establish that up front because you have to set up different things in place, and there's different tactics that you would use to really optimize against a sales objective. So get very clear up front. So the first step is align on the goal. Then from there, align on which KPIs you're going to track, and then create content that's going to achieve those goals. Just not all content is made to achieve a sales goal or a brand awareness goal. So you're going to want to work with your agency or strategist or whoever's responsible for your influencer marketing on the type of content to drive the metric that you're looking for. The KPIs that you're seeing on this slide are all the basically your typical KPIs. I'm not saying that you should stop measuring these. You absolutely should. But there are some other metrics that you may want to look at when you're evaluating the effectiveness of your influencer marketing campaign. All right, so everything under the then column here is still very relevant and you still want to track it, but you should also be tracking the now metrics too. So I want to introduce you to some new metrics and new ways of thinking about our reporting. And these aren't new metrics. We all know about reach and sentiment, but a lot of times we find that our clients are not measuring these specific metrics when it comes to their influencer campaigns, and you absolutely can. So one of the metrics you should be looking at is earned media value. This will tell you the monetary value to the aggregated sum of engagement metrics generated by your influencer post or campaign. This will also help you compare the campaign to your traditional marketing efforts. Sentiment, this is very, very important. Beyond how many people are engaging with the post, you really want to get a sense of how people feel and the actions that they take when they look at that influencer piece of content. And you can do that by really looking and analyzing at the comments. And I always recommend that when you are partnering with an influencer, you're doing a lot of social listening on that influencer marketing post, or that influencer's post, and engaging with the comments if anyone there is commenting about your brand. And we definitely see that a lot. View rate is a very, very important metric. If you find that you are getting 150% view rate on a specific influencer piece of content, that is great. That means that more people are seeing that piece of content than who follows them. We actually published a influencer benchmark report, so if you want to see what the standards are of what's great by influencer tier, so whether it's a macro or a micro, definitely email me and I can send you that report. All right, so the key to tracking all of this data is knowing where you can get all of this information based on the KPIs that you're setting. So with direct data, this can come from an influencer screenshot of the back-end analytics. And I know that sounds very outdated because there's a lot of tools that can give you that information. But we always recommend that you get that information, especially if you're paying the influencer, just to compare and contrast what your influencer software is telling you. You can also track data from collaboration posts, from UTM or affiliate links that you provide the influencer. There's also a lot of reporting software that you can use, and typically the software that you can use to find the influencer can also report on the performance of the influencer that you select. So these are tools like Tagger, Creator IQ, Sprout Social. All of those are reliable sources for tracking your influencer marketing campaigns. And these tools will typically tell you impressions, reach, and views. And then there's the analytical tools. You definitely want to lean into these, especially if you're looking to drive sales or track traffic to a specific landing page. So these are the Google Analytics tools, the Adobe Analytics tools that will allow you to track web activity and purchases, especially. So if your campaign has the sole purpose of driving sales, you definitely want to make sure that your influencers are using a UTM link or using an affiliate link so you can get all that sales information. And then there are some third-party trackers if you're looking to drive traffic or sales to a retail site like Amazon or Walmart.com. There are some other tools you can use to track one-to-one sales to external sites outside of your website. All right, here is a case study. So Classy Network is a client that we worked with. They came to us to drive brand awareness and drive sales, and they are a fashion brand. And what we did for them is we identified Gen Z and millennial fast fashion influencers who had really strong engagement rates and also who made sense to align themselves with the Classy Network brand. Then what we did was we made sure that we put the proper measurement tools in place. So we were looking at various data points from Tagger, that's what we use at Socialfly. We looked at Google Analytics, and we also asked all the influencers to share screenshots of what they were seeing on their channels. The Classy Network campaign did really, really well. We exceeded a majority of the KPIs that you can see on this screen here. You can also see the type of content that performed really well. We tracked things like impressions and reach rates, and we also had really, really positive sentiment and action-oriented social buzz on these posts. We saw people posting things like, oh, I need to go shopping now, or I just ordered the bodysuit because the color is absolute perfection. When it comes to reporting, you're going to want to report on your entire campaign holistically. So that means reporting on the organic metrics and also reporting on the paid metrics. So that's whitelisting, and that's something that we do a lot at Socialfly. And we recommend taking this holistic approach versus reporting on separate tactics, because it shows you how both sides work hand in hand to generate the KPIs that you're looking for your brand. So when we dive even deeper to all the different metrics you can be looking at, we want to make sure that we're looking at both qualitative and quantitative factors. So for an example, when we report that a campaign got over 150,000 total engagements, that doesn't give us the full picture. So we also want to lean on the qualitative metrics, and that will give us a more actionable insight for future campaigns. And then the other thing to think about when you see a spike in engagement or an outlier in one of the posts within the campaign, you always want to ask yourself why. Why is this specific piece of content doing better than that specific influencer's content that they typically post? So you might want to lean into or think about what trends are they leaning into, what cultural moments are happening, what time of day did they post, and if they typically talk about that specific topic, generally what we find is that the influencer's post is going to perform better versus being a random thing that the influencer talks about if you partnered with them. Another great case study is Kodak Plus. So Kodak hired us to drive consideration and drive purchase intent for their products for the holiday season. And we teamed up with a variety of influencers who had high engagement numbers, really strong engagement rates, and really positive sentiment on their typical posts. And in this specific campaign, we worked with a number of influencers, but the one that really stood out was someone named Audrey Storm. She was a real driving force in the campaign. So she actually went viral on Reels. You can see the post right here. That Reel got 4.9 million views and over 272,000 engagements. And we compared that with what she typically gets on her feed, and she usually gets around 182,000 views for context. So this one did really, really, really well. And when we looked at the qualitative factors, we realized that she had posted similar content before, and she had actually posted about Kodak organically before. So this was not a post that came out of left field to her followers, and is probably why it outperformed a lot of the other things that she did. She also really leaned into a popular content trend. So you can't hear it here, but this is an ASMR type of content. And it obviously did really well, and it appeared very genuine and not manufactured. The other great thing that happened here was, as you can see, we got a lot of really positive posts on this post. I need this in my life. This looks so good. Wow, this is so cool. So this is another testament thing to share with anyone that's looking at whether or not this campaign was effective, because it shows that people who saw this had a really positive reaction. All right, when it comes to analyzing the data, there are a lot of different steps to take, so I'm going to go through them right now. You want to make sure everything's aggregated into a single document so that you can compare and contrast and see everything all in one place. You want to make sure that the data is accurate. So that means you're leaning on your tools, the influencer marketing software tools. You're asking the influencers to verify it. And then you're also looking at if you're tracking traffic to your website, you're looking at your website traffic as well during the time period that those influencers posted. Then you want to compare the results to the KPIs that you had originally set out at the start of the campaign to make sure that you achieve them. And then you want to look at the total program performance and the individual post performance to see how everything worked together holistically, and also look at which influencers perform best within the mix of people that you decided to work with. Look at those outliers and then assess the results and maybe take out some of the outliers so that you can see what the typical benchmarks would be for a future campaign. And then you want to look at assessing the factors that might have contributed to this overall performance. So look at time period, cultural moments, what the influencer actually posted, where they posted, and that will give you even more insights. And then use all this information to inform the strategy of your future influencer marketing campaigns. So once you see all of this on a slide, in a deck, in an Excel document, you want to ask yourself these questions. Did we hit the KPIs? What worked? What got the best results? And what optimizations can be made next time to really improve upon these results? Here's just some more do's and don'ts to managing an effective influencer campaign. Again, when you are setting up the goal of the campaign, you want to pick 2 or 3 key metrics. Of course, we're going to look at everything, but really align on the 2 or 3 key metrics that matter. So that might be sales, that might be impressions, that might be view rate. Figure out what's most important, and then really emphasize those KPIs when you're analyzing all the results at the end. Do also include website data such as landing page activity, and don't only focus on social metrics like likes and comments. Really take a look at your Google Analytics to see if there are any spikes or any trends you can spot during the time period that those influencers posted. And then look at everything holistically, look at all of the creators and everything on a grander scale. Don't report on paid and organic as completely separate entities. They really do work together. And then create KPIs for individual influencer assets. Don't just focus on campaign level data. And then leverage all the tools that you have at your disposal. There's a lot of free tools. The influencer tools do usually cost a monthly subscription, but there's a lot of data that you can get for when you're working with influencers. And then looking ahead, so as the industry has evolved, we expect reporting to continuously evolve and hopefully become easier with new AI capabilities that are coming out. Our hope, we're not there yet, is that there will be some sort of solution using AI that will aggregate all of these things and make it easier and a little less manual. You also want to pay attention to and stay on top of any multi-touch attribution models and new softwares that exist. And then real-time reporting, we are already seeing this happen within the tools that we use. The tools are getting better at tracking real-time data like Instagram stories. And then lastly, here are the 4 key takeaways. So 1, we want to talk about, or I want to just emphasize that you should always identify and set clear KPIs based on your specific objectives. So awareness campaigns, for example, should really lean into view rates and reach, while conversion campaigns should really focus on sales lifts and one-to-one sales. Second, we want to encourage you to assess external factors that played a role in your campaign, like any type of cultural moment or content trends. Third, look beyond the numbers and remember to analyze both qualitative and quantitative variables. And then lastly, report on metrics that showcase the true ROI and help you drive insights to inform your future campaigns. Don't let engagement rate be the only metric that you focus on, because as we all know, with influencer marketing, it's more dynamic than that, and there's a lot more that meets the eye. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now, or you can come find me in the booth over there. Oh, Caitlin, do you have a question? Yeah, so at social. Oh, the question is, what top tools do we use? So we at Socialfly use Tagger. We've used a variety of different tools, and we like that one the best. But a lot of them are very similar from what we have found with the maybe 3 or 4 that we've experimented with. And then we also lean heavily into Google Analytics, especially if our clients are looking to drive sales. And then we always ask our influencers to send screenshots. Any other questions? Yes. So the question is, what social media platforms work best for influencer marketing right now? Did I hear that correctly? So the answer, and I always hate this answer, but the answer really is it depends. And it depends because it depends on who you're looking to reach. So if you're looking to reach Gen Z, I think, we're on day 2 of this conference here. So I think we know where to reach Gen Z and where we should focus on. It's probably TikTok, and YouTube. So that's where you would want to focus. If you want to reach an older demographic, you might want to go to Facebook. Or if you're doing a B2B campaign, go to LinkedIn and reach that professional community. All of those platforms have influencers, and influencers can be people with 1,000 followers. And of course, we know the influencers that have millions of followers, and obviously they all come with different price points. So the answer is it depends, but we typically will focus our influencer campaigns on Instagram and TikTok. Any other questions? And that was a great question. Well, thank you all for joining me. And again, I'll be out there. We have a fun booth over there. We have a spin to win wheel, so you can win some fun Socialfly prizes. This concludes the digital marketing track. I think we're at the end of YMS, and there's one last session in the main conference room where you can ask a Gen Z anything. So join us all there, and thank you.